I say we need a bicycle. Mommy say we need a
donkey. I'd love to learn to ride a donkey.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
So these are 5 ways in which our family is currently self-sufficient. And of course, there are more things that we would like to do. But in the meantime, let's discuss that. So I first thought about self-sufficiency when I was in Ukraine. I spoke about that before. Watching Living Manor Ministries. This is way before COVID. It was like 2017. Well, when you look at it, it's not way before COVID because we never knew COVID was coming.
Right.
But 2017 or so, right? And you know, Evan Bridge is going on property saying, first of all, you need country living property because you need to be able to grow your own food. You can't be going to the supermarket back and forth. And I'm like, okay, that's new to me. Right.
So we think first thing to do is to acquire a piece of land. After we acquire the land, we start to farm it.
Okay. So the first thing you think in overall self-sustainability is acquiring land?
Yeah, because where we were in Portmore, we couldn't farm any food there. You understand? And we couldn't even do any water harvesting because, you know, it's just National Water Commission.
Right.
So it was very hard. Even if you farm, it's just a little for a day or so. It's not sustainable for the family.
How I see it is, you know, 3 basic needs: food, clothing, and shelter.
Okay.
So if you even think about that, food, you'd have to farm your own food because in the city you can't farm.
Right.
Daddy used to farm at least a place, but we couldn't do anything with that. And clothing, right? We don't do that yet, but that's something we have to think about. And shelter, so shelter, in my opinion, so the food and the shelter go together, getting the land, right? So the first step is definitely acquiring land, right?
And as you talk about clothing, remember, it's harder to feed somebody than to clothe them because clothes can serve you for a very long time, but you have to eat every day.
That's true. You have to eat every day, or 2-3 times for the day. True thing. Alright, so our first step was acquiring land. We saw that as being very important, that we needed to acquire land, and we did so.
Right.
Fine. Next step, when we acquire the land, we
start to farm it.
Yes.
And we start to eat from it even before we live on it.
Right, there's a Bible verse that says, prepare the land without, and then you build your house. Well, Daddy started to farm. I started to plant 1 and 2 things as well. Before we started building, we came here and we looked at the land and we said, all right, this is what this and this and this are what we're going to do.
Yeah, and also because we want to continue to plant, we start to save our seeds. So when we get our seeds, when we reap, we would wash out the seeds, dry them, and store them.
We started to grow things from Portmore, and put them in little containers and say you're going to take them down.
Right. We started to do that.
Yes.
And because you know seeds will easily get mold, so we keep them in the refrigerator.
Right. Daddy taught us that when you don't want your seeds to get moldy, keep them cool in the refrigerator, because the heat and the moisture, wherever they are in some closet or something, or bag or whatever, will, you know, denature them, of course, because the mold will come and take out the nutrients. You don't want that, right? No. So after we started farming, the next step was to do building. So we started to build. Fine. And we know, say, okay, so we acquire the land now, we start farming, we are gonna do land and food, and then now we need somewhere to live. We need shelter, right? So with the shelter we were gonna build. Fine. So with building, we knew that we needed water at this point. Can we have food?
Okay. Yes.
So in the building, something about where we live is they say that all the houses must have tanks.
Right. And where we live too, you know, there is no, we hardly have wells. There are wells, but it is very hard to dig a well because of the hill. So we said we have to do water harvest. So
we thought about wells, but where we are, it's high above ground, and when we investigated it, it's so much money just to call them to explore if you have water on your property. And we said, no, sir. In a sense, you come and have people like dig up for millions and millions and millions. First of all, we don't have it like that. So we say, that's not going to be the way. Let's just do rainwater harvesting.
Right.
And that was an easier way. And that's what most people around us do. and so we went that route. So in the building, we took that into consideration that we wanted to do rainwater harvesting, and so our foundation was to build our house with tank. Fine?
Yes.
So we could have water. Yeah. So far, we started first with the land acquisition, then we did the farming to ensure that we'll have food, and also to make people know, say, yo, somebody's there, so somebody is moving to that property. It's not somebody's property, right? No longer go because there's a tank on our property, and no longer go over there.
Yes, because people used to come by and take water.
Yes.
Nobody used to be, and they used to even tie their cows here.
Right.
So we keep going and coming, keep farming, and so they stay away because they realize now that this is not a free for all anymore.
Not only that, in the building process, the first thing we did, we started to fence around the property. To say this is now ours.
For security.
Yes, and to say, because if you're farming,
right,
you want people to reap your things. You want to be able to reap your things. We didn't really farm quick crops though. We farmed things like Daddy farmed things like yam and banana and stuff like that, which would have taken some time. Cocoa, right. So anyway, and clear up the land so people could understand. No, don't bother go on that land for Neesberry anymore. Don't bother go on that land for Hogberry
and tangerine.
And don't bother go on that land for Aki anymore. Just, this is no longer, you can't just walk across. So we fenced with barbed wire and stuff like that first so that we could mark our territory, right? So that being said, we wanted to have no rent or mortgage. You want to comment on that?
Well, yes, we didn't. We took loans at first to acquire, and then I left shortly as I took the loans, I left my work. But because the plan was to sell my home in Portmore, so I paid off one of the loan and used that money now to start the building.
Yeah, we're going to talk more in details in our video that talks about how we financed our property about that. But we were very gung-ho as a family when we met about no loans or mortgage. We didn't want, even if we took a loan, we didn't want a loan for a long time. So we said, we're just going to do what we need to do for a short time, but we don't want any loan. We're not taking no long mortgage. So we just built, and we knew we didn't want any loans. So we focused on trying to do everything without any long-term loan. Not true?
Right.
So we currently have no rent or mortgage to pay for our house. Everything was paid off. And the only thing we do for our house with the property is taxes,
which is a blessing.
Just a quick what do you call that? Just a quick plug. You can also pay taxes years in advance. So if you have the money, you can pay 10 years. Right. And that's something that we thought about doing because we wanted to say at least 5 or 4 years we wanted to pay, because there's coming a time when we're not going to be able to buy ourselves. We don't want to have to be paying tax if we can't buy ourselves because of our beliefs and because we're not choosing to take the mark of the beast, right? How you going to pay for your land taxes and then I'll kick you off. Fine. So we went ahead and we paid our taxes up in advance of what we could afford at the moment that we did that. So we paid about 4 years or 5 years thereabout, right? So that's something we should also think about. So we're trying to think about being self-sustainable and not having to pay, right?
So now we always buy water, and we realize that we have to do something, but we didn't really know what to do. We were thinking that we're gonna have to boil our water then.
Right.
But then
I went to a friend and I went to a family's house, and the family said to me, "Stasa, you look like a girl." I was doing Catherine speak. I'm like, no, why would you say that? And then they said, because we have a water filter, and because we do rainwater catchment, we have a water filter, and we just buy a water filter by the hardware, put on our water filter on our pipe, and this is the water that we drink. And we've tested the water. They've had the portability of the water tested, meaning can you drink it, can you use it, and it's perfectly able to be used for drinking purposes and stuff like that. So I came home and I said, "Mom,
Yeah.
We need a water filter. And that's how you come to the country and you learn from different people.
Yes, yes.
Right? And that's why it's important who you have in your circle as well. People who are going to the same place. So things you never thought of, they think about it and you say, okay, I can get this idea. So
now we used to buy water for the water that we spend for the month. The money that we spend to buy water for the month, that's the cost of the filter. It's pretty cheap, and now we are enjoying the luxury of having our own, drinking our own water. Right,
so buy water anymore.
Right, so that is one thing of getting self-sustainable.
Yes,
right, and we depend upon the Lord for the rain, and He do send it. A man from the communities, he came along and he said, "No rain don't fall at this place, you know, no rain," and that get Papa G mad because he wants to do him farming. But guess what? God has proven him wrong. Right now, water running, no rain not falling, water running from the tank. We don't even have enough to catch all the water. Isn't God good?
Yeah, and we have not been, since we have gotten the amount that we thought we needed. We prayed and the Lord showed us how much tank space we needed. We have not needed to buy water.
The only time we buy water is to build.
Yeah.
But
because we need a lot of water when you're building.
Right. We don't have enough place to store water. Right now the tank is overflowing. So isn't God good?
Right. And we don't get rain, but the tank is overflowing.
Yes, and we depend on Him for the water, and He provides.
Right. Something else. Beryl taught us something. Beryl is a whole. We need to do a video. What we learned in Beryl.
Yes.
Beryl taught us a lot. We had no light, and our main, going back to food, our main source of food storage. Well, we do two types of food storage. Now, if you come to the country and you're farming, you need food storage, and Beryl taught us that because after Beryl, everything blow down, so we can't depend on the yam and the banana anymore. We had to reap up all the bananas at that point. So there was no staggering anymore. So this week you have banana, and next week then, you understand?
Right, right.
So we were blanching.
Right.
That's Mommy and Shian's thing. They told them usually do it. They blanch. Anytime we blanching again, Mama can show them how we blanch and preserve our grown provisions.
Right.
Right? So we blanch and we put it in the freezer. We also do dry storage, vacuum sealing. Right? That's what we do.
Yes.
But you know, the light went, and we said I told them we're not opening the freezer at all. And we didn't open the freezer for 1 whole week. Yes. What was your response?
I said, Lord, please send somebody to lend us a generator, because we were saying, how is it that we didn't thought of getting a generator? And the Sabbath when Sasha was going to church, she came back and she said, your prayer had answered. Somebody was migrating and lent us a generator.
Right, they were going away for a little bit.
Right.
And they said, listen, I need my refrigerator to be on electricity. I need somebody to take my generator with my refrigerator. And we were like, yes, because we were now, at this point it was like the Thursday, Friday after the storm. Storm occurred Wednesday, and we said, we need a generator. We kept looking for generator. We couldn't get any because it was so expensive.
Yes.
300,000, 600,000. Not
there was any.
There was none. We got all the way to Kingston. There was none. Anyways, the generator came and taught us a proper lesson. You was a proper whipping. The
gas to maintain the generator, it's not easy, and people, you know, because some of you have generator, right? The gas for 2 days is 1 month light bill.
Right.
And we had it for 1 week.
Right, so pay the 1 month light bill like 3 times.
Right. So we said, no, this is not where God is leading us. This is not where He is leading us at all, because we cannot maintain this.
But be mindful, remember, I never ever wanted a generator from the get-go, because I was saying, how we going to buy gas? Yeah, that's not sustainable.
But you get frantic.
The problems now, I start get frantic for true.
Yes.
I say, no, we need a generator. And the Lord must say, I laugh and I say, you never work it out. I say, the generator now going to fail me. You worked it out. So why are you coming back to me with this? And sometimes the problems make we go back on what we said we wouldn't do. Anyways, we use the generator for a week, and then Mommy tell them the testimony now.
Well, while I was in Portmore,
before
I even thought of coming to the country, some money was owed to me.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I even forget about it. I said, it's not coming through. But guess what? God allowed it to come through right in Burial. Right when we needed it.
2 weeks after Burial.
And we used it to purchase solar.
Right. Still not necessarily the system that we need for our house, but
Yes.
something that has been keeping us. Because we just get back
Yes.
yesterday. Today is the 13th. Today is, well, we got back light on the night of the 12th.
Right.
So we just get back light the 12th of August. So you know, we've been so 1 week the deep freeze. You never talk about the deep freeze. The deep freeze stayed frozen for
Yes.
1 whole week after burial. So burial happened the 3rd. By the 10th, we opened the fridge because we got the generator by the 10th.
Yes.
We opened the deep freeze. All was still frozen, and we were giving thanks to God because we know that's a miracle.
Yes.
And sometimes the time hot.
Right, and also that we would need the yam and the potato and the banana that we stored because and the tomatoes because they are very expensive at the market now. So we were happy that we still have food because we stored and God come through.
Right.
So as I said, the solar is not that strong, but because we would do well with another battery, but we are giving thanks. Yes, we are giving thanks because it is maintaining us.
Right. Whenever it's done, our smoke finish, we'll just turn off everything. It's as simple as that. You understand? We turn off we turn off a deep freeze at night. Like there are things we've been doing to conserve and to let it stretch. Fine, not a huge system, but we're so grateful. So the Lord come through with that money right on time.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So 1 week after the hurricane, we got the generator and realized for another week we had it and we said no, we can't manage this. And we had done preparation for the solar because we had asked for a quotation from a long time. So we kind of knew what it cost and we were stressing out and saying, Lord, with the hurricane the price are going to go up. No, because a lot of people were now purchasing solar, right? So we were afraid to say, boy, they're going to purchase the solar and they're going to hike up the price and we're not going to be able to pay it because it was the same exact amount that we needed for the solar that she got. You understand?
Yes, and we are very thankful to God because we know we have to pray for the sunlight, just the sun to come up.
Before we used to pray for rain every day.
Right. No, and let me tell you something. There are times when the sun is out in the days and we are getting rain in the night.
Yes.
So we say God is really good. There haven't been a day that the battery don't charge.
True. Even if it's gloomy.
Even if it's gloomy,
Yeah.
it's still charged. So this is depending totally upon God for self-sustainability.
So, as well as at the end of the burial, we realized that we had a lot of tomatoes.
Yes.
And I said to Mommy, you know what? Let's make some ketchup.
Right.
And we just come up with a recipe and Mommy made the ketchup and it was so good and we said we're not anytime that we get another harvest of tomatoes, we're not turning back.
Yes.
Tomato, ketchup to a thing.
Yes, and now we plan also to make our own powder seasoning.
Yes.
Yes, because we can use onion and scallion and we have turmeric and other things. Thyme.
When we're doing it, we can show you.
Right.
We can show you how we do that. Right? So we're not fully self-sustainable. So those are those 5 things, right? The acquiring of the land, the farming, the food, the water, of course, building, fine, and solar, right? No. Some things that we were discussing and said we really need is when you can buy ourselves, for the time when you can buy ourselves, what you're going to need more. We need transportation. We're not going to be able to buy gas. So, Mommy, what was your suggestion? I said we need a bicycle. Mommy said we need a
donkey. I'd love to learn to ride a donkey. Just imagine Papa G at the front of the donkey, at the head there, and I'm at the back. I would really love to do that because if we have to maybe do some bartering and take some food to somebody and bring back their food, we would just use our donkey for transportation.
I use a bicycle.
I'm excited. I think.
Another thing I'm thinking of is also soap making.
Okay.
Hygienic needs.
Yes.
Soap making and like body butter making. Something we need to start getting into as well. Because you need those things. What are you going to do for your skin? You understand?
Yes. And
I have a friend who makes soap, so we need to go and get a tutorial from her.
Okay. And for your perfume, what would you use,
You don't need to worry about smell and everything.
Okay.
It's a joke. You can use the flowers and you make tinctures. We can make perfume. Once you have alcohol, you can make perfume.
Okay.
Another one as well is to just plant more.
Yes.
Plant more things, more variety. Right? That's what we need to focus on and hone in on.
And also plant not just long-term crops, but plant that at all times you have a fruit or you have something to eat from.
Like after burial, we realize we don't really have much vegetable. What we do? Sprouts.
Right, we do sprouting.
Quick and fast. 5 days. You
Yes.
understand? I should put up a video of how I did my sprouting. 5 days and we have vegetables to eat and still have in the fridge right now.
Right.
You understand? It's very nutrient rich. So that's something you can do too. And the last but not least thing that I think we need a sewing machine. That is a tailor. Mommy can sew as well.
Right.
Just in case we need clothes.
Or even if you don't need clothes, but even if you know, you can sew up something that is torn or so.
Yeah.
So it's good.
So I think we need a sewing machine. So from us, those are the ways in which our family is self-sufficient, or we're trying to get to total self-sufficiency. What have you learned from this video? Is there anything you'd like us to talk about in future videos? And is there anything we missed that you would like to hear about? All right, so see you at our next video.
Yes, just like, share and subscribe.
All right, mommy, you're on it. All right, thank you.